Alrighty, guys. Democrats have reached a deal with Trump Justice Department to get key underlying evidence from Mueller report. Essentially, maybe it's just blackmail. But first, let's do the intro. Fuck. But first, let's cue the outro. Damn it. But first, let's cue the just play the thing. Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another edition of DNA Crows. I'm your host, Dean, the D in DNA Crows. So it seems the House Democrats have reached a deal to get the unredacted Mueller report that has key evidence. It looks as if maybe they just have blackmailed their way into getting it. They were told the proper steps on how to get it. They issued a subpoena to get BARR to give them the unredacted report. He said he can't. That would be illegal, seeing as it has grand jury information. And they basically said, well, then you will be held in contempt of court. He said you could always get a court to issue you that information. And they said, well, then you need to do that. And he said, well, it's not my place to do your job for you. And they said that they would be holding him in contempt of court. They have apparently reached a deal. Basically, they don't hold him in contempt of court if he gives them the information, which sounds a lot like extortion or blackmail. Take your pick. But let's go ahead and read this article by Newsweek. The Justice Department reached a deal Monday with House panel investigating President Donald Trump for possible abuse of power and obstruction of justice to provide certain underlying evidence from the Mueller report that was previously subpoenaed, according to that panel's chairman. The documents will begin to be provided to members of the House Judiciary Committee for reviews later that day. The committee's Democratic chairman, Gerald Nadler, said in a statement, "The evidence will include Mueller's most important files to us, providing us with key evidence that the special counsel used to assess whether the president and others obstructed justice or were engaged in other misconduct," he added. So that's, I find that extremely interesting. I'm pretty sure the unredacted report is just all it's gonna really have is grand jury information. And seeing how the left loves to dox people that get in their way, like maybe random citizens who share Nancy Pelosi memes. I would be worried if I was part of this grand jury. But let's just get back into it. As a result of the deal struck between the committee and the Justice Department, two entities long at odds with one another over obtaining the unredacted Mueller report and its underlying evidence, Nadler said they will not proceed with a House floor vote scheduled for Tuesday to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of court. And like I said, this is such bullshit. The reason why they want to hold him in contempt is because he wouldn't give them the unredacted report, because it would be illegal for him to do so because it has grand jury information. And they know that. And they know that it would have been illegal, but they requested it specifically to make him look bad. And a lot of the mainstream news is being extremely disingenuous in how they're reporting on it. Basically, they're making it sound like he just didn't want to give it to him. It's just illegal for him to give them the unredacted report. And so, like I said, the mainstream media is being completely disingenuous in their reporting of this. If the department proceeds in good faith and we are able to obtain everything that we need, then there will be no need to take further steps, the New York Democrat said. If important information is held back, then we will have no choice but to enforce our subpoena in court and consider other remedies. Announcement of the deal came just hours before the committee will hold the first of a series of hearings designed to highlight events laid out in the Mueller report, which Democrats have said amount to criminal wrongdoing. Trump is accused of attempting to obstruct justice, including by trying to have former special counsel Robert Mueller removed from his post during the 22-month-long probe. Yeah, I would have him removed too. Voting along party lines last month, the Judiciary Committee cited BARR for contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with subpoena to turn over the unredacted report and underlying evidence. The unredacted report it's only not being given because it's illegal for them to give it to him. And they know that. They know that he wasn't able to give it to him. Not because he's hiding it, but because it's fucking illegal. Like, that's so silly. And the fact is, most people don't keep up on a lot of news, but they do take highlights, right? So when they're hearing about this, Attorney General Barr isn't giving it to them because he's Trump's bitch and Trump did something illegal, so he's hiding it. And people just believe that. The mainstream media is just pushing a narrative, right? I mean, first it was Trump's Putin's bitch, and he's a criminal. He's a criminal, and he colluded with Russia, and he stole the election. And now it's he obstructed justice to a crime that never happened, and now Attorney General Barr is hiding things for him. And it's like, dude, at what point do you just give up? I mean, everything has been disproven so far, and you just want to continue to run with it. I gotta give it to the left. They have commitment. I mean, I guess they're very committed to this. But so yeah, let's just continue to go. Over a series of back and forth discussions throughout the past months, the committee's Democratic leadership and the Justice Department could not reach a deal. As a result, the House had planned to vote Tuesday to hold the nation's top law enforcement official in contempt and to begin the enforcement process. It's so weird that the House would plan to vote on the Attorney General basically upholding the law. Because like we've said before, it would have been illegal for him to give them the unredacted report, right? So now they're saying, well, we're going to hold you in contempt of court for following procedure and the law. I guess that's where we're at in America nowadays. However, Nadler did say that a vote on House resolutions authorizing them to enforce its subpoena in federal court will still take place. Some enforcement actions may be necessary to obtain documents and testimony outside the scope of today's agreement with the Department of Justice, including testimony from former White House counsel Don McGahn, Nadler said. McGahn, at the direction of the White House, has defied a subpoena and refused to testify before the committee. So it sounds like the subpoenas aren't necessarily enforceable, which is why they're going to take a vote to be able to enforce them in federal court. Maybe I'm understanding that wrong, but that sounds like that's why McGahn has defied the subpoena, because it's non-enforceable. But like I said, maybe I am getting that wrong. I don't know. The panel's top Republican member, Representative Doug Collins, applauded the deal, but still ridiculed his counterparts. The Justice Department has yet again offered accommodations to House Democrats, and I am glad Chairman Nadler, for the first time in months, has finally met them at the negotiating table. Collins said in a statement, in light of today's agreement from the Justice Department, it's logical to ask, is the chairman prepared to rescind his baseless recommendation to hold the Attorney General in contempt? Or do House Democrats still plan to greenlight lawsuits against the Attorney General and former White House counsel tomorrow? Just going over what Doug Collins had said there. He says that the Justice Department has yet again offered accommodations to House Democrats, which is true. Throughout all the coverage of this, I'm not surprised that people think that the Justice Department has been shifty and dodgy because mainstream media lies and disingenuous coverage. However, it couldn't be further from the truth. The Justice Department has been very forthcoming. However, the House Democrats have been extremely hard to work with by asking for information that would be illegal for the Justice Department to give them. They unredacted literally almost everything, tried to give it to them, and they wouldn't even read it because it wasn't fully unredacted. When told how they could get the fully unredacted form, they said, well, you have to do that. And of course, the mainstream media doesn't report it like this. They just report it as, oh, they're trying to hide something. The Justice Department is trying to hide something for Trump. So, yeah, we'll see how this deal goes. I wouldn't be surprised if they still try to hold BARR in contempt, but we'll see. So remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Consider maybe sharing our content. I would really appreciate it, but I won't force you to. Alrighty, guys. Remember, the conversation does not end here. Tell us what you think in the comment section.